Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for coming back another week to the What Else is Going On podcast. For those of y'all watching, hey, for those of y'all listening, hey. So I have a guest that I'm so excited about. We have been working on these dates for about a month and a half. She was so patient with my schedule. Y'all know I'll be out in these streets sometimes, and when that money's coming, I'll be like, can we reschedule? And then other things come up in life. But I have decided the year of 2024 that I have to put as much energy into this baby as I do everything else. Y'all, I'm excited for those of y'all to talk to this beautiful young lady from Reality Recap, Miss Vanessa, AKA, I'm now calling her my Nessa. Hey, boo.
Hi.
I'm so glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it.
Listen, and I love hearing you talk because we both discussed, she's from North Jersey, but I'm from South Jersey. So I still love hearing that accent. There's just something that does something to, that accent. So it's even though South Jersey, we didn't have it, but it's still seeing another fellow Jersey girl always feels good.
Yes, born and raised too. Born and raised.
Listen, I say Jersey girls are like fire and ice. We'll burn you up and ice you out all at the same time.
We are. That is a true statement.
Listen, country girl down south. Look, when I went away to college, my dad said, people are going to ask you, people are going to identify basically where you come from. People are going to ask you what exit you are on the turnpike. He said, so tell them go to exit 1 and keep going. Because that's how far. So what exit are you on the turnpike, Nessa?
I am exit 13W.
Okay, 13W. Okay. In my mind, I'm on the turnpike, and for some reason, I could be driving on autopilot, but every time I hit 7 for like Great Adventure, my eyes would always go. Like that was the mark. Yep. That's like we're almost there. So Nessa is here to grace us with her reality expertise. Y'all, please make sure y'all go check out her page and everything that she is doing. Before we get into it, you want to let everybody know you just recently were on a podcast. So let everybody know where they can go check you out there.
Yeah, it's linked in my bio. I did a co-hosting with Keep It Reality Pod. It's on my page, Reality, that's TEA, reality_recap. It's linked in my bio right now. So you can go right there to check it out. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. No, thank you. Listen, we have to I support all women. And then I'm like Issa. I'm also rooting for everybody Black.
That's right.
And you a Jersey girl. So we're going to jump right into, we talked about the Essence article yesterday, Potomac.
We did.
What are your thoughts on the article? And what are your thoughts on Potomac this season? Because I have to be honest, my blood pressure can't really take Potomac this season. So what are your thoughts on the article and then on the show overall and any specifics that you want to get into?
Well, when I read the article, I have to be completely honest. I was like, did Monique write this?
Now, I'm going to say you're not the only one. You're not the only one that said that, because I felt that a little too.
Yeah, I really felt like she had a hand in it, or you could tell she was interviewed in it, but it was heavily centered around her experience and kind of projecting that onto what's happening currently on the show. And I have to be honest, like I when I watch the show, I don't get the perception that Karen or Giselle or Ashley or Robin are doing anything because someone is dark skinned on the show. I don't get that feeling, or and that could just be me, but they don't make me feel that way.
Okay.
I loved Monique on the show. And do I feel like she's aggressive? Not all the time. But in that scenario with her and Candace, Yes, she was. Yeah. And like to compare that to, you know, her feeling iced out about that situation or them not wanting to talk to her, film with her, whatever was going on, and compare that to what was happening to Wendy, to me was kind of like comparing apples and oranges. Like what Wendy had going on. Like Wendy ain't trying to choke nobody with an umbrella when you know. And Wendy, right, and Wendy didn't have an all-out fight brawl in a winery. So I just
over words.
right, yeah, you know, and I just, you know, sometimes I don't get it. I don't get it, honestly, just because I personally, and not saying that it hasn't happened where someone's treated me differently because I'm a dark-skinned woman. Maybe it's just going over my head because I
Okay.
step in every room and I just feel like I command that presence. And my skin tone I've never been jealous of anybody else's skin tone. I've never wanted to be anybody else's skin tone. I love my chocolate self. So you
I know
can't
that's
tell me nothing.
That is a note for all of us Black women to take. No matter what skin tone we are, we need to love our melanin.
Love it. I've never felt that way. And even growing up for myself, you know, all of my mom was a yellow bone girl.
Okay.
And all of my cousins, you know, on my mom's side of the family were all light skinned. I was the only chocolate one. And it's funny now, it's the opposite. My daughters are yellow bone, and now the whole, you know, the household
Okay.
is all chocolate. So, you know, I've never walked into a room or felt lesser than because of my skin tone. And I just feel like can't nobody make me feel that way.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, I've read the article. I have to say respectfully, I didn't agree with it a little bit, but
listen,
you know,
that's been so that it's funny because that's been it's I won't even say a split, but from what I have seen on my side of social media, I have seen people that do agree and I have seen people that don't agree. And then I am of the feeling where I agreed with a lot, but there's some of it that I didn't agree with too. Like I could see it's hard because when you look at a situation, I think we all come to watching these shows. Everything we do in life, we do it based on our experiences, right? Whether we're trying to approach a situation and are like, I'm going to handle it like this because of how I was handled in that same situation. So I think everything we do sometimes can be based on where we come from. So I feel like some of it was definitely projection possibly in that article. Like you said, I did feel like it was almost Monique herself could have been writing it, because I'll be honest, I got the comparison about Wendy's treatment versus Monique's treatment. However, it could have been sometimes with articles like that, in certain situations, we need more maybe fact-based than opinion. And I feel like, and I, like I said, I loved that the author had her own thoughts and feelings about it. Hey, if you're watching, come on the show. But at the same time, I also get why facts are important. Like, this is what happened, and this is what leads me to think this way, versus it just coming from somebody's point of view. I can understand, okay, with Monique, Giselle brought the security guard. She said, I by no means want to be around somebody violent. But then when it happens to Wendy, you're like, it's because I don't like her. But it seemed like Monique wrote that section herself. Right. So I think it might have been, for some people reading it, they immediately were like, it seems like it's almost biased towards Monique. So I definitely get that. Yeah, there were things that I agree with and things that I was like, oh, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, no one, in my opinion, approaches every situation exactly the same.
No.
And I love Wendy. I really, truly do. I respect her and her education, what she brings to the show. I think she's a great addition. And I just, when you look at, again, that brawl with Monique versus that little petty argument or throw of a drink that I'm not. Did it actually hit her in the
That's
face?
what I was wondering. I know Mia didn't, and did her purse hit her? Because I know she tried to hit her with her purse.
Right. It just that's where I guess I was getting into like the apples and oranges. Like that
Okay.
was not a true altercation as like Monique could have went to jail for that,
Yeah.
like, not saying either were right, and the true Jersey girl I am, you throw a drink at me, we are going to end up like Monique and Candace. So, I understand it. It just, like, I don't know. I'm just a to each its own type of person. If you felt like both of them were the same and you would have handled the situation as far as excluding someone and not talking in the same exact way, then do your thing,
Yeah.
girl. That's
Yeah.
just not how I felt.
Okay, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Because you're looking at like you're looking at it like the physical violence and something
Right.
that we had.
Right.
Well, we've seen it on some of these Bravo shows, but I get what you're looking at it this way versus the drink and the purse versus where someone maybe just looking at it as assault in general. Well, throwing a drink
Right.
is assault or coming at. So
Right.
I do understand what you're saying. As far as what you said, Jersey girl, I told my mom, people have to be careful in those situations, like Mia, because I'm gonna tell you,
Mhm.
my first thought wouldn't have necessarily. See, I probably would have went to jail because she would have screwed. Because my
You and me
first
both.
thought would not have been to snatch. It would have been to grab a glass and
And
try
hit
to,
her right back.
and her
Mhm.
whole face would have been cut up. So
Mhm.
and that's why I said I could never. You work hard to be a better person every day, right? Like Whitney, we're working on ourselves every day, right? And for me, and for whoever you want to be, whoever you serve, whether it be God, whatever, you may base your life on that. Like, I'm trying to be a better person, what have you, what have you. And I can't let anything take me out of that, because I don't care. You could have been in the church for 25 years. You could be um into something else for 25 years. That don't mean that something can't happen and take you right back that fast.
That fast.
And so I was like, I could never put myself in a situation like that. Do you think that if Bravo came to you and said, "Hey, we're casting for Jersey," would you be interested in submitting your tape? Do you honestly feel, because we all watch these shows, let's look at Monica for Salt Lake City, and we feel like we know, oh, we know the play. We know behind the scenes, right? Especially we may get a little bit of tea. We know. Do you honestly feel like you would want to be a part of that type of show?
None of these reality shows would I want to be a part of simply because I'd rather be on this side of it. It takes a extremely sound person, strong within yourself. The scrutiny that these reality TV stars and celebrities in general in this day and age with social media, I know for a fact I couldn't handle it. I would want to fight everybody in the comments.
Come
You know,
outside.
I'm already like that about my page. Like if you
Yes.
come on my page talking mess, we're gonna go back and forth. So I just know for everyone else's safety, it's best.
Wait, I like that. For everyone else's safety.
It's best that I stay on this side. Now, if you want me to come on and be behind the bar, watch what happens live or something like that, then holla at me. But no, I can't do the reality TV show. I respect what these people do and how they put their entire lives out there for all of us to pick apart, scrutinize, and discuss. So it takes a really strong person to do that, and I'm not there. Nope. Because it's gonna all go out the window. I could be saved sitting on the throne with Jesus. If you try me, it's going.
Sitting on the right hand of the Father.
It's going off every single
Yep.
time. So
And that's why I try to, like, it's hard. Like when we talk about, like, I used to be fans of Giselle and Robin. I'm no longer fans, but I also try not to take it to, like, when they get into talking into their looks and stuff, I don't like to take it there, because I know even doing this, like you said, with your page, with my podcast, the YouTube, people can say, I wouldn't want anybody, if they didn't like what I had to say, let's keep it there. I don't need you going into my looks or she got
Right.
a teeth gap, or she got, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I wouldn't need that, because like you said, I would probably want to knock on somebody's door, especially if my husband was brought into it, i.e. Candace and Giselle. We would have a major issue. The tweets would be the least of your concerns. What do you think about what is going on with Candace's latest tweet? Some people have a problem with her Twitter thread. I'll be honest and say I didn't, because I felt like actually it wasn't like some of her other ones, name calling. It was very much, this is how I feel and I'm tired. I've seen people say she should be fired for the tweets. I don't know. Do you know which ones I'm talking about? How she talked about how she was triggered because of
Um, I
the
think I
essay?
saw them. Yeah, I think I didn't see them on Twitter, but someone posted them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So how do you feel about all of it? The Giselle and Chris of it all, and Candace's response and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Candace on this one. Like, I signed up to be on this show. And even though my husband is involved or my children are involved because they are a part of my life, keep it children, family. I always say that it's off limits all the time for me in any scenario. Like, I just feel like that's always off limits. And if you decide to bring up these things or throw a drink or do any of these things, be prepared for whatever comes back at you. Simple as that, right? Because if you come for my husband or my two babies, we got a problem right there on the spot. So if you choose to go that route, then be prepared for the repercussions. That's how I feel about it. And honestly, I felt like her tweets were much milder than what we're used to.
And that's what I was like. This was actually well thought out, put together. But
Right.
I'm of the same mindset as you. I've taught my kids from the time they were small, if you throw a pebble at somebody, you can't get mad if their response is a boulder back. Now, do we think that could sometimes a response be bigger than the actual action? Yes, of
Right.
course, we're human. Also, at the same time, you can't dictate a
Awesome.
person's response to you.
Yep.
And that's what I feel like Giselle's trying to do with Candace.
Yeah. I mean, and same way, like I don't know if I was ever like I'm not ever a fan of any of these Potomac
Mhm.
women. I watch it, I like it, but I'm a Atlanta girl. I love
Now,
Porter. Now that's who I'm a fan of. But
Atlanta is my heart.
yeah, yeah, so I've never felt like I was a fan of any of them, but yeah, just move on from it. And I do feel like Giselle's storyline, except for this, because she done went through all the husbands at this point, trying to make them her storyline. Now it's, her children and this guy from Winter House, which I don't watch Winter House, so that's why I said this guy. But just which I also saw was on pause.
Yeah, girl. I said, what's going on?
So I don't know there, but I'm never a fan in any situation of someone else on the show being your storyline. Now, if y'all get into something that's totally different, but that's how I feel about NECA. That's how I feel about Anne Marie.
Girl,
Like, I want to know what's going on with you before you tell me anything about what's going on in any of the other castmates' lives. Like, who are you, first of all, before we get into anything else? Like,
yes.
I have no clue who NECA is, no clue who Anne Marie is, no clue who Alicia is, or Married to Medicine. Like, she ain't even got no beef with nobody. But I don't know. They just, the way that Bravo has them jumping in and just expecting us to be like, okay, we cool with you because you're on this show. No, it doesn't work like that. Introduce yourself.
Yes.
That's
And like you said, even with NECA, she could have really come in, and I do believe producers are the ones that told Ashley about that Osu storyline so she could bring it up, right? She could have used that as a chance to introduce herself and have a conversation with Wendy and not everybody else on the cast. She could have even said, let's have a conversation. Can I have a conversation with your mom? I mean, she could have really took that in so many different directions, but I truly feel because I'm trying to watch it from a perspective of being unbiased. It's hard. We watch these shows, and there are certain people that you may, like you said, you're not a fan of anybody on Potomac, but there are certain people that you are definitely not fans of, right? So it's hard sometimes when it is one of the ones that you like or can tolerate versus someone who you're definitely not a fan of. So I'm trying to watch this show, just look at what's going on, right? And I'm watching, and I'm like, if Wendy has not been her storyline every single time Wendy's come up, but you're not having conversations with Wendy. And a stark difference I noticed. Listen, I get it. These women don't have to be friends, but with the whole Giselle trying to, it's nothing new, them icing somebody out. I go back to season 5 with Monique, and I'll never forget someone told me, I felt bad because after the fight, they iced Monique out. But let's not forget, Monique was a part of trying to ice Candace out at first, but then it flipped. So I get that, though. Let's not try to ice out. But where was I going with that? My thought, just because I started thinking about something else on Potomac that I wanted to ask you about. But anyway, I'm not a fan of the whole ice out. So I don't feel like, I don't know. I want to say I don't feel like they should be allowed to come and do that on the show. But at the same time, that's what I was going to say. If this is supposed to be real life, I guess Giselle would have been upset that Wendy cussed her out, right? And maybe wouldn't talk to her in real life. But at what point is it like, okay, I know this is supposed to be real life, but at the same time,
yeah, it's real life under contract. Okay.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, I get in real life, you may not, but real life also knowing this is a TV show.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't, I'm never a fan of that. Like, whatever someone's done, it's more Bravo's determination of what should happen in that scenario. Like, even the whole thing with Quad, same thing. Like, just trying to ice vote somebody out, tell them they got to go home. I'm never a fan of that. I get extreme violence and things like that, but in that case, you have security and people stepping in and putting you in the van and sending you on your way. So that's that. But for you to make the decision that you're going to not film with someone or things like that shouldn't be allowed.
And that lets me know that conversations are going on behind the scenes also.
You Clearly, can definitely tell there's conversation. Even at the reunions, you can see the people looking at, even at Salt Lake. You can see them looking at each other. They've planned, prepared, had a whole group chat, and put their plan in motion before the season starts, the reunion starts. You can definitely tell. I've been watching these shows so long, you understand the body language, the eye contact, all of that. Like, you can tell, definitely.
When you said that, I immediately thought of Salt Lake, which we'll get into next, but Lisa saying, get the recording. And they plan, which, well, let me ask. So, Potomac, how are you feeling about the season? I'll get back into what I was going to tell you about Salt Lake. How are you feeling about the season as a whole?
Well, I guess that's what I did agree with on the article, that it does feel like it's on a sharp decline because it's just not given, I'm disappointed still with Robin and how her storyline kind of went on off camera, and now we're trying to get her to hold herself accountable. Like, we're trying now for that.
Do it again. Do it again.
Like, so she said, hold me accountable. No, we wanted to hold Juan accountable when you were going through the situation. Now you're like taking the lashing for him, honestly. So, it's nothing really going on there. I don't, I don't have a like for Nneka and how she came out, and I always think that's corny anyway. When you come on as the new girl and try to attack an OG or a vet on the show to make yourself relevant or make yourself popular, it never works out. So, let's remember that, for the folks that are signing up for these shows, that never works out. Like, just come on, be yourself. Let us get to know you and make that determination. But yeah, there's nothing really going on here right now. Nothing at all.
And I feel like not only is she, like you said, coming on trying to be for the OG, it is clear, and I don't care what nobody says. I know people on social media are like, oh, y'all just always think the GEBs are planning something or Giselle's always planning something. You're not going to tell me that NECA is not, even if it wasn't a direct direction to go after Wendy. Come on now. We can clearly see where NECA's loyalties already lie. And I'm going to tell you, Mia made that same mistake. I remember I've never been a fan of Mia. Now what I do is just watch and laugh because I'm like, child, I don't believe nothing that Mia could tell me that today is Thursday, which it is. And I'll be like, girl, I need to check my calendar. I don't know if I believe you. But Mia came in, remember when her first dinner at Wendy's, and she told Karen, she came in with Karen and said Giselle had a good heart. But then as she started talking to Karen, then all of a sudden she's got these balls and Giselle and Robin want to meet her for lunch. And she says, go through my assistant. She started out strong, right? She started out kind of coming for Giselle. And then Giselle in her Versace robe, that robe that she had on.
Not the Versace.
Out of Versace robe. And Giselle kind of checked her and was like, don't ever do that again. Mia backed right down. And ever since then has been under with the GEBs. And now I'm looking at NECA coming in. When NECA said Candace never is accountable, or basically Candace was following Wendy, maybe you aren't lying and haven't watched the show, because you can't believe that Candace, out of all of them, has never really followed along with anyone. When sometimes she might be good if she did, right? But she's always stood on her own. As a matter of fact, she was riding for Monique with the whole Ashley thing, and Ashley accusing Monique of driving under the influence. When they went to Paris, I think it was, and Ashley was coming for Karen, she took up for Karen. So I'm like, maybe you're not lying. Maybe you did watch the show, but I'm literally watching NECA seem like she's taking behind the scenes orders from these people with Wendy. And I'm just like, girl, be your own person. Come in with the right matching foundation shade, number one. And then
say that. Because that interview looked this past Sunday.
You know how us black people, listen, us black people like to say, girl, you casket sharp. That is truly.
Yes. It wasn't just me. Okay.
No. Maybe she's born with it. That's not Maybelline, though. I need you to. Or maybe it is Maybelline, and that's the problem.
Yeah, maybe it's the matte. I never like a matte finish anyway. Maybe that's what it was, but it wasn't just me. Thank you.
And I just sat here and said I don't like to go. And I'm not outside of her makeup shade. I'm not saying she's not a beautiful woman, y'all. What I'm saying is the makeup is wrong. How dare you come on here and try to, like, if I was Wendy, but see, you know. So I'm not happy with the way I personally feel like she is under the direction of like, this is not going to be your friend. And then even look at how Wendy and Candace handle things totally different. Wendy and Robin ain't saying it for each other, but Wendy told Candace, if you want to fix it with Robin, have a conversation. Candace went and met with NECA, but you would never see Giselle give Robin that kind of advice. You would never see it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope they can find their footing, but I feel like I'm almost out. Like I pretty much am 90% out, because I'm like, this is a lot. But then speaking to, like, with colorism, it goes back to when we're watching these things, sometimes you can't help but maybe it's an unconscious thing, because if in fact these people can do X, Y, and Z, and they all look the same, but these two people do X, Y, and Z. So I go back and forth, because to me, it looks like colorism, but also in real life, you know, people keep saying, well, Giselle made up with Karen, but they were friends at some point in real life and they have history. So maybe that's why she was able to forgive her, you know? So I'm always trying to make sure that I am looking at things in a way that I don't automatically assume one thing because of what everyone else is saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like how Cat Williams said, what the news had everybody thinking Jonathan Majors was fine. I didn't look look at this from my own perspective and see. But I feel like there's unconscious. Sometimes I do feel like there's unconscious colorism, and it could be, or what is that? Subconscious, not unconscious, subconscious, I guess, because of some of the things we've also heard. Karen saying Wendy doesn't have the right look for Potomac. Giselle saying the show was successful because the world had not seen light-skinned, green-eyed bandits, Black women. I heard her say that on her podcast. So I guess it could be all of it and it could be none of it.
Yeah.
So like you said, because you haven't had that experience. So it's like,
yeah, everyone has their own perception, and I am not looking to change their perception. If you feel like, and if it hits home or that is what you take from it,
yep,
I respect that. And I'm never going to talk down and say that's a lie or that's not true. You are entitled to your opinion, your feelings, your experiences that have shaped how you feel about the show. I just, for me, I haven't gotten that they don't want to talk to someone because of the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't had that experience, So
one thing I do like about, with there being differences and people's different experiences, is it causes conversations like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say you never heard of colorism, or let's say I didn't know exactly what it was, or I felt something but couldn't put a name to it. Even if you don't see what another person sees, when you have these conversations, it does make you think like, oh, let me look at that again. You know what I mean? So I like that we have these conversations, which is why I'm glad that Black people are now watching Potomac, because I felt like the audience was really white heavy. I know at BravoCon, the audience was majority white out there. Now that could be because that's who majority was at BravoCon.
I was going to say, everyone's not going to afford to go out there.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, so I'm glad that we are having these conversations. Sometimes I do wonder, it's hard because, again, with Salt Lake City, which we'll get into in that conversation about the Mormon church, I feel like certain conversations are good to have in front of company, i.e. white people, but then there are certain conversations that sometimes I'm like, should we even be having these conversations? Because I've seen people weigh in and I'm like, you don't even, come on now, you don't go here. So I need you, because as a Black woman, I take that like we're having a discussion about colorism. So I don't need somebody who don't look like none of us to tell me what it isn't. When maybe I can respect that from you or another Black woman, and we're talking about our shared experiences.
Exactly.
But don't come in my comments telling me, oh, that's reaching, that's, I just feel like certain conversations, even if I don't agree with like a Wendy, I've seen people from Wendy's culture on social media go on white platforms and bash her about her culture. And just for me personally, I try to keep it to what I agree with and don't agree with, but I'm not going to go on somebody's platform who doesn't look like me and bash another Black woman based on her culture and how we're from the same culture, so we don't do it like that over here. For me, I just feel like there's certain things I'm not going to say in front of company.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
It would have been a totally different conversation had this been, a interview or, us collaborating and, it was with a white woman. I would have been kind of side-eyeing if they even sent me the article and said, we're going to discuss it. It would have been like, is there anything else we could talk about?
Right. We're not discussing this. Right. Because like Mary said, unless you're me, unless you're my skin, some things we can't describe. So, describe. So going into Salt Lake City, I need to know straight off the top of your head, no thinking about it, no thinking about the entire season and how she was at the beginning versus us finding out who, the troll account she runs. What do you think of Monica? I just want you to lay it all out.
When Monica first stepped on the scene, the hood in me was like, she's a rat, like I'm not supposed to like her,
okay.
That's just 101, especially in Jersey. They don't watch Mob Wives. Y'all know, you watch Housewives of Jersey, y'all know that snitching in these parts is a no.
Wait,
No.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. You saying she's a rat? I don't know why I thought of Drita. Get up, Karen. Get up. I don't know why.
Yes, immediately. The same thing. Definitely thought about Drita. But I said it on one of my podcast episodes when the season first. I said, I'm not supposed to like this girl, but I like her.
You did.
And as the season went on, she reminded me of like 8 Mile when Rabbit did the rap and laid all his information out so nobody could come for him in the rap. So she was giving me Rabbit vibes, she was she was keeping it real transparent. Even with the whole reality Vontae's coming out as her, I still was like, yeah, she's the MVP. She like infiltrated the group, got on the show, mastermind. Like she's going down in history. Like that finale, it still ain't over Jersey and Teresa flipping the table, but it's right up under there. But I would say after it aired and all of the stuff started coming out, like how she was sitting outside her house, disguising herself, I was like, okay, this is getting weird. Like that's how I felt, and I was waiting for the reunion to kind of, she was saying there's more to the story. We're going to hear it. I'm not hearing anything so far. I will say I didn't even recap or put any highlights from this last episode, the part 2 reunion. It just fell a little flat for me. So I'm hoping that it picks back up in part 3. But that's how I left off. Like I could like you, but explain why you going so hard for Jen. What did she do to you? How did that involve talking about all the other women on the show, on this troll account? It got kind of like obsessed vibes, and like what's the true issue here? I really need to understand, what did Jen do to you that you felt that you had to go to these lengths to like basically make this your whole life and get on this show? It's getting a little weird in here.
I did a tweet and I had said, basically, with her, I'm of two minds. It's like, she's interesting and irritating. She is stepping boldly, yes, into a villain while also kind of still feeling like a coward a little bit.
Still playing victim on the side.
Yes. And then she tells the truth, but is also a liar. So I feel like I would be uneasy around her unless I had to suspend reality and be like, we going out for a night, we having fun. Like it would have to be that. Like I don't know if I would ever fully trust, especially people can change or maybe she doesn't have to change, but if I was the cast member of hers now, that's how I would feel. Like kind of like, okay, maybe you didn't directly go after me, but who's to say that you ain't collecting evidence and doing all this now?
Yeah, definitely. It's the old saying, hurt people hurt people. Girl. She has clearly a lot of unresolved with her mom and, just past traumas, just learning the things with her husband and what she's probably gone through with the church and, how she said they, labeled her a whore after her, I think she's been through a lot, not excusing any of it that she's done, but I always say she's not in her healing era yet. Definitely. Yes. So I just, I need part 3 to piece it together and help me understand. And then I'll come back to you and tell you. But right now, I'm just in the middle. It could go left or right, but you're going to have to explain something to me.
It has to go left or right. We can't stay right here.
Right. Do I want to see her back next season? Absolutely. I absolutely want to see her back. Right. I ain't hanging out with her, but I want to see her back next season for sure.
When you said hurt people, whenever I hear somebody say that, I always think of Tammy Roman. She was doing one of her Bonnet Chronicles and she said, hurt people, but hurt people will get effed up too. So you can walk around here slapping people because you've been slapped, but you may get effed up. And I was like,
you're gonna meet the right one.
You're gonna meet the right one that's also been hurt. So you don't have to take out your hurt on other people. So
Right.
I'm with you. Like you said, I'm it could go either it has to go either way, whether that's left or right. But what we can't do is keep you here in the middle. And that's how I feel about her coming back. I could see it and probably enjoy it, but then I could also see you go. But then it's like, because at this point, when they say we're waiting for her to, when Mary says we want Monica, like I want her to be able to explain herself, I don't really know what's there to explain. You've explained it in your confessionals, like we need to talk about moving forward, because what is there to explain? You create an account with other people to troll Jen.
But then you brought everybody else in it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, where do we go from there?
Yeah. And I just feel like if she doesn't come back, let that be either her decision or Bravo's decision. Again, not these women deciding they're gonna ice her out. Like, you got played, deal with it. Because at the end of the day, Heather, you still getting your hair done by Tanisha, ain't you?
And
So
did you see the receipts that
I
the
did.
dressmaker maybe
Yeah.
said Heather Ben knew about it? I felt
Yeah.
like she knew about it too.
Yeah. I felt like she knew about it, and she even went along with it behind the scenes because she had her silent beef about her black eye that she lied about. And I do think that, and yeah, I don't know if she knew that it was specifically this page that was talking about everybody, but she knew that there were things that were going to come out about a Jen, that were being put out about Jen, and she was quiet about it because she didn't want it out while Jen was around and could give her another black eye.
Because to me, now I'm just saying, I get me, say we're on a show, right? Outside of people that don't fight, being afraid somebody that fights is going to fight them. Jen didn't strike me as no fighter. She struck me as she knew the cast she was on and knew she could intimidate them with all that hollering and screaming. She wasn't going over to Atlanta and doing all that.
She was the biggest dog in that yard.
Yes. Yeah. When they say that they lived in fear of a troll account, the only reason that I might be fearful was because I've taught Cash Money to her. And so when she gets mad, she can just, because other than that, nobody's has me living in fear. So I'm like, all of y'all must have said some stuff and told people's business for y'all to be in fear. And like, they really, especially Heather, like, look, fear to be in fear of this account. So I want to know what was, like, there has got to be so much stuff that they've said to Jen, because I feel like she had the ability to make them feel comfortable and secure in a friendship, only to turn around and use it over and over and over again. Because it would only take one time for me, one time for you to go off like you ain't have no sense, and I'm going to handle you accordingly, even if it's faking it a little bit on the cast, but you ain't never going to get nothing vulnerable from me.
Yeah. Listen, bring Tanisha on as a friend of, give me a reunion with all 6 people behind. Let's talk to them, okay?
Because I want to know. I want to know. It's interesting, the backlash Monica's getting versus Tanisha, who's not even on the show, is getting.
Yeah. She's not even getting backlash to me as far as Tanisha. Like, Tanisha, I think she was fully involved, clearly, with some of the text messages. And then when her hair career, like she said, her hair career started to take off, and then she decided she wanted to back out of it. And it was like, I'm going to play the hero by bringing this to Heather's attention to drop it on the show. That's clearly all. But all she's doing right now is gaining followers and interview requests. That's all that's happening for her, and probably gonna boost her hair clients. That's what's happening for her right now.
Because you see, I was on her page. She did Gabrielle Union. She's definitely, and before this, some people are saying that she's doing it to get on the show. I don't get that from her, but
No.
Maybe I'm missing something,
Yeah, I
but
don't get that she wants to be on the show. I do get that her career probably took off more than she expected, and that now she wants to keep that career intact,
keep that momentum.
and she wanted to get out the game.
Yeah.
And once you get jumped in, ain't no
You
getting
got
out. They
getting
say, man, learn to swim where you bound to drizzle.
listen. This is her getting jumped out. Like all these things. It's definitely. I feel like also too, because her name got put out there by Heather and also by Monica. She's like, I don't want it to mess up what could potentially happen. So let me go ahead and do these interviews and let people know, oh, I wasn't as involved. A part of me also wonders when it was solely based on Jen, right? And she was like, because from the screenshots that we've seen from Tanisha, from Monica, and from I can't remember the designer's name. I know it starts with a K, but some of the things we've seen, we could see how she was involved, and then there was a point when she was like, okay, maybe not. And I wonder if once they basically got finished with Jen and she was going to jail, was she kind of like, okay, why are we now still sending messages 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day? This was solely supposed to be about Jen. Why are we in this other territory? That a part of me, there's a small part of me that thinks that, like, she was like, I was supporting my friend because this chick was doing my friend wrong, even though my friend came in to work for her and do whatever. But now that part is over. Why are we still trolling?
And again, that's what I need to explain. What did Jen do when you was her employee that caused you to go this far? I need to understand, like, and I need that in part 3, and I need it cleared up by Andy Cohen himself. Did y'all know about this when you cast Monica or not? Because there is a lot of speculation and chatter on the internet. And it's like these emails coming out with Jen's like cease and desist and the date of that and date of this. And I need Mr. Cohen, Uncle Daddy Cohen, to tell me what is what. Because I can't go by all these accounts and what they got to say. I want to hear it. Clear it up.
Yeah, clear it
That's
up.
what I need. That's what I
need. Touch it up.
Yeah. Refresh it, okay? I need to understand.
Yeah, because Jen's claiming that they knew, and Monica's name was on her when Jen filed it. It was Monica and 3 other names, one of which was not Tanisha's.
Yeah.
So it makes me want. Also, I want something else cleared up. Supposedly, Monica was also going after Jen because Jen had not paid her. This is what Tanisha is saying. Jen hadn't paid her, and I would tell her, you're going to need to ask for your money. But then Monica is saying she worked for her for nothing, like going in for free. So I almost feel like, is there game playing going on? Like, now you're going to try to say, well, I exposed her because she didn't pay me, but you went in, not work, allegedly just going in to help a friend, which then makes me go back to, it's not like you said, it just needs to be cleared up, because she's saying the reason I decided to work for Jen is because she was my friend. What was it about Jen? Where did you hear that made you want to become friends with her? Because it was after the show started, right? It wasn't before the show.
They were she's saying that they were filming season 1. That's what she mentioned. And the key word in what you said is that Monica said she started out as my friend. So again, what did she do to you that you're not her friend? You got with 5 other people allegedly, and you set up this account to go that hard. I just, especially, we're not even touching on you then called the feds and became an informant in her case. You don't do those type of things because somebody owe you some assistant money. Tell me what's going on.
Right. And
help me understand, and maybe I'll be like, oh, why? Well, then I get it. And maybe I won't, but I need you to help me understand.
Because if it was just solely about her stealing money from the elderly, taking money, once she was going to jail, like you wouldn't have needed any other proof unless she came out and said, you know what? I found out she was doing that and I was determined to expose everything about her. Own up to it then. Don't try to make excuses for it. Nope. Guess what? I started this troll. She was treating us like crap. So I decided to start this troll account. In turn, found out she was stealing. So guess what? I became an informant and I kept trolling her and will continue to drag her as long as there's something to drag. Then I would have to be like, all right, like you said, I respect, but it's almost like she's trying to like, it's Jen's fault that I'm dragging her. You didn't have to get involved in that because didn't she say Jen told her, hey, do you want to make like $600,000 by the end of the year? All you got to do is this, 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 and this. And she happened to mention it to her friend and her friend was like, stay away from her. She's being investigated.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was saying. So did you give your name in social? Or did you do some stuff in now?
Yeah, because
you another Tanisha trying to throw the rock before you get in trouble.
Because then she said that in her confessional, her friend told her stay away. But then she says somewhere along the way, like you said, she called them because then she said at the reunion, she called them and said, I have some information regarding the case. Why you ain't say that to your FBI friend then? Like that's what's missing for me. Yeah. Well, I need a timeline of events. Like you said, clear it up, touch it up.
The math ain't mathing. So help me understand. Okay. Take me to school. So
now I want to read something to you about Monica and her mom. And I want you to tell me what you think. I did a video earlier talking about this and I forgot to read a second part. So I'm going to read it to you. Shout out to Rodney, the voice on YouTube. He is hilarious. Rodney said that there's a movie. Oh, and I can't think of the movie he mentioned, but basically like mother and daughter running scams. And he said he kind of feels
I think that was with like Jennifer Love Hewitt and was it Heartbreakers?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, see, yes. That's what it was. So he said he kind of feel like they're giving that kind of tease, like Heartbreakers tease. So like he believes that their relationship is toxic, which I do, but also it might be a play. Like they might be running a little bit of a play. So you know how Monica said at the reunion, her mom left her with those people to be in TV, to get a job in TV, right? Mm-hmm. Monica's mom tweets, everything Monica says about me is a lie or half truth. I never applied, auditioned, not season 4 or any other. I'm an award-winning journalist and TV producer. That was the TV job in NYC, news journalist / producer. Y'all watching, y'all do see Vanessa's face. I already had the job. Reality TV is not my cup of tea. Hashtag RHOSLC. Monica and her mom, to me, are maybe two sides of the same coin because her mom said, everything that Monica says about me is a lie or half truth. I never applied or auditioned. In Monica's defense on that one, she never said that you applied or auditioned. Yeah. Why didn't you address the part about Monica saying you prayed, if it's not Monica, let it be me? See, she playing games. Then she says, I'm an award-winning journalist and TV producer. That was the TV job in NYC, news journalist producer. I already had the job. Reality TV is not my cup of tea. Monica didn't say you went to, actually, Monica could be playing games herself, semantics. She never said that you went out to go audition or went out to go pursue a career in acting when you left her. She said you went because for a job in TV. Yeah. And you're saying you already had a job in TV. So I feel like there's trickery. But then these are supposed to be text messages, I'm assuming, between Monica and her mom. Mm-hmm. And the mom says, this is February 16th, 2023. I don't agree to in perpetuity. I know they don't need me. Monica says, yes, I do. I need you. The mom says, and I want to be there for you 100%, but I ain't selling my soul, with the praying hands and the laughing emoji. And Monica says, we talked about this, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. We are showcasing our people. with 5 exclamation marks. We are showing our Portuguese family 4 exclamation marks. So I guess that's the mom's way of proving I never wanted to be on reality TV. Well, no, you could still be on one reality TV and just say, I'm not here to basically be made a fool of, or I'm not selling my soul. But I guess that's her way of saying, I didn't want this. Monica wanted me.
Listen, I'm going to tell you exactly what popped into my head as you read that to me. Soon as you said journalism, I said, oh, so you were helping write the captions on Reality Von Teese. That's what the first thing that came to my mind. I got to give you my honest opinion here.
I'm dead to the bed.
Oh, so you were helping too. Was you part of the 6?
You was one of the 6.
You was writing the captions and gathering the information, Miss Journalist. Okay. That's what I took from it. Number 2, there is a codependency of toxicity with this mom and daughter duo. They don't want to fix it. We already know that. We've seen they said that on the show. They went to therapy 1,000 times. They were supposed to do that again on this show. What happened there? They are thriving and functioning in this chaos. And we just along for the ride. That's exactly what I took from that.
They are thriving and functioning. The more chaotic, the more it's
the better off they are at this point. They are so far gone. It's no reeling that back. So we just gonna let them come back and keep giving it to us at this point.
Wow, that is good about the captions. You said gathering the information with Miss Award-winning Award-winning television producer.
Yeah. So were you part of the 6? Because it's giving. You were helping gather that now, allegedly.
Look, allegedly, the Salt Lake 6.
I like that.
Hold on. I got to text myself. That's going to be that needs to be our episode title, the Salt Lake 6. Because baby, you saying that, wow.
That's what popped in my head. Like, you have helped orchestrate this entire thing. You did not audition, but you helped and prepped your daughter to audition. And you provided that prayer. You probably said that, yes. If she don't get it, let them hire me as a producer.
When she said that, Lord, if it's not Monica, let it be me. I always think of the Black church. There are certain phrases that people say that lets me know they've been around Black folks that go to church. And all I could think of that song, whatever you do, Lord, don't do it without me. Lord, if it ain't mine, let it be me.
Yes. That's
my God.
Wow. Did you post those? Or did she? Oh, she posted it. The mom posted the text messages.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. See, I did a YouTube video and I talked about earlier. So Monica's mom tweeted that, and I meant to talk about that screenshot, but I completely forgot. So I'll make sure I text it to you after this.
Yeah.
Also on all about Real Housewives account, there was a friend who is a 10+ year on and off friend who decided they needed to get some things off their chest, right? And they had a lot to say. So I know you have to go, but I'm going to read these to you real quick because I've got to know your thoughts.
Yeah, no, let's keep going. Let's keep going here. This is amazing.
So Monica Garcia's former friend of 10+ years exposes Monica for committing illegal crimes, plus her multiple affairs, and reveals Monica willingly contacted authorities against Jen Shaw. So I guess you have to go to their website or listen to get into the affairs part. But these are the texts. Hi, ladies. I recently found your podcast and listened to your most recent episode discussing the SLC reunion. As somebody who's been on and off best friends with Monica since she moved to Utah from AZ, and then she has in parentheses the amount of years. I think it's 10 years, but for some reason they blocked it out. For 10 years, I wanted to clear up a few things. Bree, her oldest daughter, was legally adopted by Mike, Monica's ex-husband. The other three girls are Mike's. Monica and I have always been fans of the RH franchise, and we watched the premiere of season 1 together. And she looked at me and said, "Watch me. I'm going to be on this show someday." In October 2020, Monica started working for Jen. The only payment Monica ever received from her was $2,500 so her car wouldn't be repossessed, an Apple Watch, and a fake Louis Vuitton bag. She asked me for the $2,500 and I told her no, due to her lack of repayment when I've loaned her money in the past. Monica saw Jen as a stepping stone for her career. I remember having dinner with Monica and she told me about being hired on with Jen and all the NDAs she's had to sign. Monica only knew Angie through Jen when they filmed the WAP video. Look this up on YouTube.
I saw that.
Monica's dream has always been to be a TV star. She idolizes Kim K. When Monica told me she was casted, I was so happy for her. I knew this had always been a dream of hers. I thought she'd be the new favorite. In the 10 plus years we've been friends, I've seen some of the most beautiful parts of Monica, and I was hoping she'd show this side of herself. I'm not out to ruin her career or life because I think she was made for TV. I also know her mom very well, and their relationship on TV is exactly how it is in real life. Monica and I are no longer friends, and my life is much better because of that. Also, you know the leaked videos of Jen Shah throwing a tantrum and screaming at her then designer Koa, who's now living rent-free in Monica's house in exchange for his designs. And then there must have been correspondence in the middle, because then it jumps to, absolutely, at the end of her relationship with Jen, I think she looked at it as she wanted to do anything she could to make a name for herself, and she willingly contacted the authorities to let them know what information she had against Jen. Monica had a plan this whole time. I know you've interviewed Tanisha. I don't think I'd want to go on, I guess, their podcast. Again, not looking to ruin Monica's life, but she's leaving so much truth out. She's a liar. I'm okay with you sharing these texts, but not my name. Monica was the one who leaked those videos of Jen yelling at Koa. And guess how Monica had access to the video? When Jen got on the show, Monica suggested she install security cameras. When Vivid showed up to install, Jen wasn't home. So they set all the cameras up to Monica's phone. So even after Monica stopped working for her, she would log in and watch what was going on in the house. I don't know what Monica's thought process is with all of this. Monica and Jen are the same person. I hesitated speaking out, but figured, what the hell? We'll never be friends again. I also thought she was just a bad friend to me. Then I saw the way she treated all these ladies. Yes, she borrowed my ski suit for filming after she told me her mom bought her one and then returned it because they got in a fight. I think the last time I saw Monica was after they wrapped filming. She was sending me videos while they were in Bermuda. We had dinner for her birthday after she got home, and she told me what happened and that she flew home by herself. She told me the trip ended in a huge fight because Tanisha turned on her and told Heather all her secrets. Monica didn't tell me it was because of the Von Teese page. I knew Monica had a burner page. She actually has several, but whenever she'd bring it up, I became uninterested because that's childish stuff to me. So she never shared a ton of it with me.
I'm like speechless.
Girl.
Like, I don't know who to trust and what to trust. Like, was that written by the Six too? I don't know. Like,
the award-winning journalist.
No, like, and it just conveniently happened that because we saw the whole Range Rover get taken by the mom, that you telling me she took back a snowsuit. I don't know. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of it.
That's a lot. And my question for the friend,
out of detail.
When did y'all fall out? Because if you met with her after filming, that wasn't that much long ago. So what happened for you to now watch the reunion and feel she's leaving too much out? So I must avenge who?
Right.
Because who? It's not
anonymously, like at that.
Right. Yes.
Listen.
So like you met with her after filming. What happened between then and now for you to send 19 pages?
Not 19
for you to send a burn book on Monica.
A court document.
Yes. Like,
I cannot. Listen, my saying is you can never trust a friend that turns on you and tells all your business after you're not friends anymore anyway. So I don't trust you no more than I trust Monica. So
Like Candy says, mad day.
right.
And I want to know what made you mad though.
Just like I need to know what made Monica mad.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, right.
We got the wrong people at the reunion.
Yeah, yes, like
we need these six. We need the mom. Is the mom going to be there this time?
I was gonna say I doubt it. If Andy turns around and says Linda, for some, I like her name on Insta or on LD underscore millionaire. I said, well, come on, LD. Now I'm gonna say this about Monica's last names. I understand that there are people saying that sometimes there are Mexicans that have more than one last name. And I'm just repeating what I saw. So I'm not saying that, but I've seen people say, well, you know, people who are Mexican, I've seen them say this online. But I do have I understand that. I understand the names because I understood when she said what her mom's original name was. That wasn't foreign. I mean, that wasn't weird to me because sometimes you do carry on family names more than one. What I wish Andy would have asked, she was named Monica Linda Darnell after her mom, right? That's her mom's family name, Linda Darnell. Then she got married, so she was Fowler. After she got divorced, she wanted a family name. So she took her dad's last name, Garcia, who she hasn't seen.
Okay.
Or was it? No, it was Linda Darnell. Then she changed her last name, then got married. But then she also started going by her dad's name, Garcia. If I wanted Andy to ask, and maybe he did and they just didn't show it, you haven't seen him since you were 4. So now I understand, okay, you wanted to be far disassociated from Linda Darnell and you did not want to keep your married last name. Understood. But then you wanted a family name, so you picked your dad's last name, someone that you haven't seen. And I would have wanted Andy to ask her reasoning behind that. I'm just curious. Like, you haven't seen him. You even said you don't even know if you were interested in meeting him now. Understood. But then you picked his last name.
It's giving all around scammer. Okay.
Because there is a picture of her from a Pinterest from years ago that I saw. And that last name says Monica Delgado.
We are dealing with a very traumatized woman who is in all types of identity crisis. And listen, I'm just going along for the ride. I have given my tickets. I am strapped in. Let's go. I just want to watch the tragedy unfold. Sorry, that's what I tune in for. I'm here for the mess
and to see what happens. Did you notice one thing about a scammer when you start watching their patterns from the night at the dinner, even at the reunion, you can tell when she's caught in a lie. Someone will say something that
she give you that face.
And then she throws out their name. So you catch me in a lie and it's Vanessa. What else is it about me that you don't like? Never addresses what the person, she did that to Angie K when Angie threw, I forget what it was Angie said. She said, like you said, the face.
Yeah.
Angie.
It's like that pause when you're on an interview and you're trying to gather your thoughts to respond because it's like, oh, they caught me.
So she's been taught, like, say their name back to them. She did it when Heather said, you are Reality Von Teese. Heather.
That award-winning journalist that got her together.
This is what you do. This is what you never break character.
Yeah, like I'm here for it. She infiltrated the whole entire thing. This is profound. These are things that have never been done before. She did it. So, like, Monica, it's up to you to make sure I continue to like you. So you better tell me on part 3, what made you lose your mind and do all of this against Jen Shaw? I need to know.
So, okay, you said you're here for the mess. You're strapped in. She infiltrated. She did it. what is your mindset going forward with housewives and troll accounts or accounts? Because she wasn't even just a regular account, right? So that's why they're saying troll account, becoming housewives.
I mean, at this point, it's been done. So if you try to copy it, it's like,
Yeah.
on that. It's not gonna hit the same. It's not gonna have the same effect. It's not gonna have Google scrolling receipts, timelines.
Girl, who works at Google? I said,
it's not gonna have the same effect. So if you at this point, you're gonna have to top that with something else. Come up with something else.
and
But
I'm scared to
it's
see
been
what
done.
that could even be. I might have to get off the ride. Then Vanessa, like,
I would tell you, come on, get back on, let's go again. I love it. I can't even hide it no more. I love it.
I can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like
I love it. I love the mess. Yes, she's done it. So just tell me what Jen Shaw did. I'll make my decision, and we'll go from there.
You'll make your ruling, and then that'll be all right. So then, last thing, I was proud. Let me take out proud. I'm glad the conversation about Mormonism, where it was rooted, and why Mary felt the way she did about Whitney, why it came forth. Now, I will say I had somebody on my page tell me they couldn't stand Mary, and these are the reasons why. And then I had someone say that they like basically love Mary, but then she also reminds me why I can't stand Mary. So I get all of those feelings, because I do believe that Mary can dish and cannot always take. She's not always listening, because I think because of how she was raised and because of how she's lived, she comes in defensive. She comes in every situation already on the defense. Mm-hmm. So even I think back a couple seasons ago when they were was it Mary that had them cooking? They went to like a cooking thing, and Mary and Whitney had gotten to it then. And Mary was going off, and Meredith turned around to calm her down, and Meredith had to say the same thing like 2 or 3 times. And then she was like, oh, okay. Like once she realized Meredith had her back, it was like, oh, okay. Same thing at the reunion with Angie Cave. And Andy was like, she was like, this is your first year here. Why are you even responding? And Andy's like, she said something nice. Oh, okay. So I get why people feel the way they do about Mary. I am tired of people throwing out Mary's racist, Mary's this, based on the ignorance that she displayed with Jenny, and her saying what she said about Jenny's skin tone and not knowing that that was an offensive word. My parents are older than Mary, and I remember when that aired, I asked them, did you know that using the word that was offensive to that community? And they said no. So of course, now that you know it, right. I mean, it's not going to make me no difference, because I'm never going to use that as a slang insult to them. It feels to me like people automatically think people of color, we should know what to say not to offend other ethnicities and other POCs because we've been offended. Because I find that I've had conversations with other white people who say Mary should know better. Why should Mary know better? If Mary was never raised around certain demographics of people, just like you didn't know better about some of the things you've said about Black people and you didn't know what microaggressions were, why would Mary then immediately know what offends other cultures if she hasn't been raised around them? So I am tired of that conversation, but I get why people have an issue with Mary. Mary doesn't always apologize, but I'm just here to say, I like Mary. How did you feel about her saying she believed Whitney was racist and then tying it back to the church? Because I've seen some people say that was dangerous for her to say that. She shouldn't have said that based on the church. Also, as a Black woman, I know how I have felt around people that don't look like me. It is a feeling, like Mary said, that you cannot describe to anyone other than somebody who looks like you.
Yeah. I will say I felt like Mary educated me a bit, because I know absolutely nothing about Mormonism, like nothing at all. So when she was talking about what it was rooted in, I had never heard that before. So it was like, wow, like I guess I needed a minute to process it or kind of look it up myself. I had never heard that. All I knew about the Mormonism is what Heather has provided to us and how they don't want you to drink and they don't want. I was like, girl, that's everybody religion. Don't nobody religion want you to do that. Like, join the club. Like, so that's all I really knew about it. So I just felt like I could see her side in it just because I had never heard or knew that. And I still was a little confused. Like, is it true? Is it not? Because immediately Lisa jumped in and was like, talking over, I'm reading her subtitles, like, what is she saying? And then you have Heather who's saying that's absolutely correct. That's true. So if in fact true,
It is.
I really, okay.
Yep.
I understood where Mary was coming from.
Me too.
Again, same thing as I said about Potomac. Have I watched Whitney on Housewives of Salt Lake City and felt like she was racist? No, she hasn't given me that. And I do feel like, just like you wouldn't want anybody, or you were offended about whatever Heather said about your house and your Whoville dinner table chairs, like you can't throw out accusations like that, So understood how she felt about the religion. Did not understand what Whitney has done. And even when Whitney asked, have I done anything to you specifically for you to feel that way? Her response was no. So I was like, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I thought it was something dangerous to throw out in any sort of way against anybody. Is something dangerous to throw out if they haven't made you feel that way. You don't have an experience that you can share with us to help us understand why you have that perception. It was something dangerous to throw out, and you could see like Whitney was absolutely mortified when she said that. You could see it all over her face, like, what have I done? So yeah, I mean, I like Mary in her comedic lane. I just want her to stay in her comedic lane. Like when she says little smart stuff, like even when she said to Angie, like, girl, you only been here. Why are you even responding? Or when they went to with Trixie Motel and she was like, but I wasn't talking to you. Like, I want her in that lane, I feel like with Salt Lake, everybody is playing, they have a role that contributes to the show. So I like when they stay in that role. So for me, when Mary's on that side of things, yeah.
Okay.
But, just outside of that, I can't follow her. She's chaotic. Her interview on Watch What Happens Live, it was like, what did I just watch? So just stay in that lane, okay? And then we'll be good.
I just watch. But yeah, I see what you're saying. There's times when Mary is very clear and concise in what she's saying.
She's not.
And then it's hard because it's like and I won't even say she has these moments. I feel when they showed us flashes of her in the pulpit, it's like she's comfortable when she's leading. When she's not comfortable and not her thoughts aren't necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I liked about that was I've never seen it for Whitney. I don't know. I've always just thought she was pretty. That's all she gave me. I will say in that moment, I respected her.
Pot stir.
Yes, pot stir. And to me, going back to Ultimate Girls Trip, when Heather was like, you kind of like threw me under the bus. She was like, we have a show to do. And it was like, yeah, just like I thought, producers plant, they in your ear, and you're the Ashley Darby of Salt Lake City.
That part.
You are the Ashley Darby of Salt Lake City.
Well said.
I respected her in that moment because the look of horror on her face to me couldn't be faked. And she could have really went left. Like, don't say that. How dare you accuse me? Because that is big to throw out, right? But what she wanted to do was ask Mary, what have I done? Which made me think she really wants to make sure she's not this. She's not just concerned with how a lot of other white women are concerned with. Do you know what it means to be called race? She wasn't concerned with being called it. She was concerned with being it. Like, wait, what have I done? Tell me, what have I done? I forgot to flip my light on, girl. I'm getting darker and darker. But she was really concerned about, what have I done to ever make you feel that way? I'm so sorry.
Right.
I respected her for that.
Me too.
so much. I really did.
Me
And
too.
at the same time, when I'm glad Andy pressed Mary on it, so Mary then could say it's because of the religion that she was born and raised in. I'm glad that we got that conversation because it explained a lot. I know for me, I was looking at all the women except for Meredith. Like, I would say, Heather, you want to so bad be a part of a religion that, Mormons didn't allow Black people until the 1970s.
Mm,
That's not that far
right.
ago. I was born in 77. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I got what she was saying. I'm just glad that we had that conversation. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I've also never seen it for Lisa Barlow. And she gives me, you as a Black woman know this, sometimes you can be around or see or watch behaviors of people that don't look like you. And you're not saying they're racist. What you're saying is there's a kind of a little something. I don't quite know what it is. She may not have quite been around a lot of us. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I don't know what Lisa gave me in that moment. Like, again, I think it scared her that the conversation went that way and that Mary said that. Lisa gave me the perception that I thought Whitney was going to give me, that she was more worried about being canceled.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
that's what I was trying to say. Yes.
right, I felt like that's what she was giving. Like, what? Like, that's not true. Like, I'm not a part of a religion that thinks that. Like, don't cancel me. That was the vibe that she gave me, which was very disappointing. Just because I really love Lisa. She's a Sag like myself. I've always really like taken
Okay.
to her. So it was disappointing to see from her as well. It was like, right, like you said, Whitney cared more about being that than being called that. And I felt opposite about Lisa. It was
Yeah.
like, how
And
do you really feel? And you're more so just worried about cancel culture, is
yes.
what I got from her.
And when I see people throw out there, it's dangerous. It's like, no, it's more dangerous for you to be that. Be clear.
Right.
What irritated me with Lisa, Lisa always inserts herself into things sometimes. And it's like, okay, all the housewives do it, right? This particular moment, it really, when I tell you, it just went through me because Heather, who was born and raised in Mormon culture, and Whitney, who was just accused of being racist, are telling you what Mary's saying is true. And you're saying,
Right.
somebody asked me, and what she did, what Dorit did. When Dorit was talking to Garcelle and said, I'm Jewish, Garcelle, Lisa said, I'm a Jewish Mormon. And it gave me that white woman, like, here we go. I'm oppressed just like you. And it's like,
Right.
now's
And
not the time
again,
for that.
I don't even understand what that means because I know nothing about these religions. I know absolutely nothing about Jewish religion, Mormon religion. So it was truly, it was eye-opening. And right, I
Yeah.
still to this day don't understand when Dorit said that or when Lisa said that. What am I supposed to take from that? I don't
Okay.
understand. Because
Like,
I don't know enough about it.
that's not what we were talking about. It's like we're talking about this particular thing. When she raised her hand and said, ask me, I'm Mormon. It went back to, I've known white women and still do know some of them who feel the need to try to white explain to you your experience. Or if I say, like when Jenny was on, I'm telling you, her first reaction with Mary, I immediately texted with other Black folks like, yo, but I never said it to other white people that I knew because what I didn't want was, I don't get that. Of course you wouldn't get it. You're not that. Just like if a man were to tell me, I don't think that man is misogynistic, of course you wouldn't because you're a man. You don't know what it
Mhm.
feels like to be on the end of that. So for me, when Lisa immediately was like, somebody asked me, it's like it almost gave a little bit of Karen behavior in this. My voice needs to be heard. No, listen, me, I'm telling you what it is and what it isn't. And I was like you said, this is disappointing because I had started giving Lisa a little bit. Like I felt she was very
I
empathic.
really liked her. I did. I
And something
really
like
have
this,
always liked her.
it totally just took her all the way back here for me because it was like, oh man, are you really one of them?
I feel like what she was trying to prevent, she fell right into. And it was just, yeah, it was all worry about the backlash for the show, for the reunion, for herself and her brand and business.
And that,
Then
yeah.
That's what she gave me. So that was very disappointing because I really, truly always love Lisa. Yeah, I do. So
Yeah,
oh, we go from here with her. I don't.
right. I guess we just gonna wait for the text message. I mean, wait for the Watch What Happens Live or the Instagram posts or the Twitter post that
Because she hasn't
I'm
addressed
learning.
it, right? She didn't
Mm-mm,
say anything about it. Has she posted anything? Because she hasn't even come across me lately.
mm-mm.
I'm looking now to
Look
see.
now, yep.
Yeah, she really.
Y'all are gonna get me getting up for a second because, and I know Mr. Corey is not gonna be happy that I interrupted the program, but I'm turning blue. Let me turn this off.
Yeah, no.
She hasn't said anything, has she?
No, her last post was what, January 2nd. So she hasn't said much of anything or posted.
Nothing. Yep.
Just in her stories, she's at Wendy's and
But see, even that to me, it's like I know you see the conversations because you be in the Twitter streets and you're not addressing it. It almost reminds me of Dorit posting a couple weeks ago, right before the episode with her and Garcelle, happy living in my bubble. It's like that's tone deaf. Yeah, I'm gonna wait on the I'm learning and growing tweet because which is another thing. It's so interesting that people want us to give space. People want POCs to give space to people who may say something ignorant and are learning and growing, which we do, but they don't hold that same space for POCs that make that same. No one's holding space. Mary said that a couple seasons ago. She did apologize. Again, I admit that it was ignorant and stereotypical what she said, but no one gave her the opportunity to learn and grow. It's Mary was racist, but you want us to give y'all space to learn and grow. So, but that conversation was definitely, I'm glad we had it. And I will say that Whitney, she definitely made my side eye kind of go straight with her. Like,
yeah.
I really respect you
I
for
still
that.
think she's a pot stirrer and
Me
she
too.
tries to do it like I did that. What?
Oh,
Like, if you're
and we're
gonna do
watching
it,
you do it.
stand in it. Yeah, like stand in it and do it. Like, and we're watching you do it. That whole Meredith dinner with the Roombas and Nessa.
That was
She started that whole thing.
And last season, remember last season, she brought up the rumors about the jazz tickets and then she
Exactly.
literally brought it up and then tried to turn it on Meredith.
Yeah, that's so I'm still you still get a side eye on that part.
Okay. Yeah.
But right,
No,
like
so
as
we got
far as
one
a
straight
person, yeah,
and then
that's
one side eye.
still got one, So I just, with all of these shows and the things that are said, sometimes we're not perfect and
We're not.
everyone speaks before they thinks. It happens, so I just wish that, like you said, everyone's given the grace, the opportunity to grow. Because even with the Dorit thing, when they played it back, how many times she said the word attack? Like, I don't believe, I did not get again that she said it and knowingly knowing what that would do or how that would make
Mhm.
Garcelle feel.
Yeah.
Like, so I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and give them a chance to redeem themselves and I always say it's the apology. I have to go with my gut feeling when it comes to any apologies or how you address it will let me know. I'm not gonna write you off.
Yeah.
If I feel in my gut that something came out and you didn't mean it that way, or it was wrong, or you didn't know, it's how you address it is how I'm gonna move forward with you. Like you said, how I'm gonna deal with you accordingly
Yeah.
going forward. So that's
I
I
agree. What you said about Dorit, and which I don't think she's getting, I'd felt like Garcelle wasn't accusing you of being this thing, but she's telling you, this is
I
why I feel. And instead of her just saying, oh, I truly did, because people say just apologize without saying I didn't mean it. I'm even okay with her saying, Garcelle, I am truly sorry. I promise you, I didn't use that. I didn't mean that word in that way. I understand what you're saying to me now, but I really, truly wasn't using it from that place.
right.
She couldn't even do that. And it's like,
She
just hear
went
what she,
right into defending herself from cancel culture.
You're right. And that's what, and I'm going to be honest with you, and people may disagree, but I feel like when you are a non-POC, there is no cancel culture. The world is always open to you. So but I get people can say, well, so and so, because I'm really trying to think in my mind who has actually we've never heard from again, who's been, because canceled means to be taken, like that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would even say even Black people and people of color. I just don't know if there's really a cancel culture because
no, it's temporary. You lose
yeah,
a few jobs, and
yep.
you lose a few sponsors, and then quietly you probably get them back.
Look, they come back little by little. With Black people, it's Tyler Perry giving people opportunities. With white people, it may be a reality show.
Right,
so
right.
It's like you're right.
They end up on Surreal Life or something like that.
I'm here because I've been.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you end up on Surreal Life. Controversy. That's what
yes. Come back, and then slowly but surely they bring you on back into society.
That's how it go.
So, but like you said, watching these shows is we all think, because I know there's times where if a camera was in front of me, I may have said something and totally didn't mean it in that way. So like you said, giving grace. I think it's when it's repeated behavior, then we start going,
right. And there's actions behind it that lead you to that, right? But it can happen to any of us. That's why I said I can't do the reality TV. It's a lot of scrutiny. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely. I said I would rather interview them than be on with them. The only way I would do it is let me interview you on your show. That's as far as we're gonna go.
Right. That's my goal in 2024. I have not done an interview yet. Like,
okay, so who's on your wish list, or do you want to manifest it loudly, or?
Honestly, I don't have anyone on the wish list. I don't know how the inner workings is. Like when I want to interview someone when there's a show on and something, but you don't know what they can talk about or what, because the show maybe hasn't ended. So kind of treading lightly in that sense. And then also, like we talked about at the beginning, that imposter syndrome, just like, who am I that they would say yes to me? Are they gonna say no to me? Like
you are Vanessa from Reality Recap. That's who you are. With a beautiful microphone, a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Interesting questions to ask these reality people.
Right. I thank you for that. I have to get over that little hump. But that is definitely one of my 2024 goals, is to get past that fear and get to that point. Definitely.
I want you to be invited to a Jersey function because I feel like the women would like you.
I really do. Like, and that's what I want to figure out. Like, how do you get invited to these premiere parties? How do you, just move in that realm? Like, right. Because I did go to Page Six, have their podcast episode, a live podcast episode in New York. And I went, and it was Ashley there and Cynthia and a few of the New York housewives. The reboot. They were there and they were getting interviewed. And I even asked Ashley a question, and it was like, everybody was like, the question that I asked and stuff, it was like, whoa, she's asking the tea. So I know I have it in me. And even I feel like I left, like I told you, when I walk in the room, it's going to be, well, who is she? And I feel like I left that perception, definitely. So thank you for that. I need to.
Like, listen, we are encouraging. But before you go, you have to tell us, what did you ask her?
So I asked her what was her current, like the state of her friendship with Deborah, because that was right when, Sesame Street character, if you guys don't know. But I was asking because that was right after the videos dropped that we haven't gotten to yet in this season of the whole brawl with them that happened with Deborah. And what was that? Was it Candace's friend or something?
Wendy's friend Kiara.
Sorry, Wendy's friend. Yeah, it was right when those videos started to leak, and I was asking her like, "So y'all, you still cool with her right now? Like, what's happening right now?"
What's
And she
popping? Like, what's
answered,
good?
"Yeah, like check it out. It's on my page.
Okay.
Definitely. I think I had it pinned on my page too, but yeah, I got in there and I asked the questions I needed to know. That
That's
I
a good
did
question.
that reality.
I was and because that is actual real reality. Like for real, you still friends with this chick who,
Yeah.
to
And she
me,
did say they were taking space. She did say that she was
oh
taking
wait,
space from her. She said she didn't agree with what had happened. She did say that. Yep. Check it out. Check it out. She did say that.
I did not know. Okay, okay, wow,
And
okay.
she said I was gonna get her in trouble because she's not supposed to be talking about it, but she did answer the question. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I need to know. I guess you have to give me your questions in advance. You got to school me. You got to help me understand. Like,
Okay,
how do you reach out? How do you
I got
give
you.
them the question in advance? We got to talk about that for sure.
Listen, I support women, unlike Ramona Topaz. I support women. Vanessa, thank you so much for coming on. I know this won't be your last time because we're going to have to talk about the things. As far as Monica, did her explanation live up to you?
Yes.
Because remember, like you said, it's got to go right or left, but it can't. We
We
can't be
can't
stuck in the
stay
middle.
right here. Right.
I
We
need
can't
something.
stay here.
So please let everybody know where they can find your page, your podcast, all the things that you have going on.
Yeah, so again, it's reality. That's reality EA
Y'all
underscore.
see it behind her.
Yes, yes, yes. Get into it. Get into it. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. I have to say, I haven't done a podcast episode in a few weeks, but when I do, it's on Mondays and Thursdays. It streams live across Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can comment, interact. I love the live interactions while I'm going through it. So check me out. I'm gonna be getting back into it. I'm gonna try next week because I did the show last week and doing this one with you. So you guys are really encouraging me to get back to it. So, and it's a lot of shows going on, so it's a lot to discuss. Clearly,
Girl, there is so much. I have found my mom. I'm blaming my mom. Mom, if you're listening, I'm blaming her because she came. I love when my mom comes to visit me, and so she came. She's in Jersey, so she came up Thanksgiving. My dad had to work, but he just recently retired, so now he has more time to spend. And they were here for a couple of days for Christmas, so that was nice. But she came up here Thanksgiving and had me watch one episode of the Black Hamptons, right? Which turned into binging the entire first season while she was here, which turned into me watching it, which then turned into her having me watching Saints and Sinners, which turned into my dad started what turned into a literal day after Christmas of us in our pajamas still binging the show, which turned into me watching Family Business. And some of it is the worst Beth acting you've ever seen, but it is so good. So I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I was busy working, doing whatever, and I have fallen off for a little bit with the podcast, but I will come home and fire up Amazon Prime and watch Family Business and Saints and Sinners, in addition to all the other shows we got to watch. So in saying that, you're right. We have so much TV to watch. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to start doing episodes about these other shows. And I'm like, girl, you need to focus first on what you have. It's a lofty thought, but thank you so much again for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time, you working with my schedule, and I appreciate our conversation, hearing your point of view, which our point of views weren't always the same. And I'm glad that I want people to come here and get a well-rounded view on situations. I've said it before and I'll say it again. In real life, yes, I want everybody to agree with me because you think you're right in your mind, but that is not how you think outside of yourself. You can't be, an echo chamber of just your voice. So thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts. Y'all make sure y'all go and follow Vanessa at reality, TEA underscore recap on Instagram. She's gonna make me say formally Twitter.
I still call it Twitter.
I mean, I feel like I
just seems so raunchy. I don't know what that is.
I refuse to say. For those of y'all that are not watching, I just did the symbol with my arms. I refuse to call it that. She's also on Facebook. We need to encourage her to get back into putting out her podcast episodes. So y'all, please show her some love.
Thank
You're
you.
putting out in the atmosphere, her getting the interviews that she wants. We're doing a Whitney. We're putting out there that she's getting the interviews she wants, that she is getting the invites to the premieres and things, because we do need more faces that look like us in these spaces. And like I said, I think that the people will love you. So y'all, make sure y'all go like, subscribe, comment, follow, do all of the things, because you have the same name on YouTube, right?
Everywhere, yes.
I will be coming to subscribe to your YouTube page. We got to support each other.
Yeah.
And I will have all the links in my episode description, and also, I think I know how to do it, in the YouTube description. We'll have that as well. Y'all, thank y'all so much for listening. Again, y'all know, if y'all heard something that y'all did not agree with, we can get down respectfully. In the words of the diva Erica De Niro, we can get down in the comments. Again, respectfully. We will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.